It does, yeah. It's great to be out of quarantine and good to be back mixing and mingling with the boys. It's a bit of normality after a pretty interesting 2020. So yeah, it's good to be back and great to see some new faces around the club and new staff. So it's pretty exciting times.
Even your rookie year was completely different to everybody else's past, and now you go home for some rest in Victoria and you get stuck sort of in between. You must just be thinking, is there going to be a normal?
I know. Yeah, it's been very interesting, but I've trying to be taking everything in my stride. And yeah, if one thing I've learned from 21 is just to expect the unexpected. So yeah, that's one thing I'll take into 2021, and yeah, hopefully I can use that to improve my footy and keep me mentally stable.
What was it like training with the Victorian boys? Obviously, plenty good players.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, we had Joel Corey, Matty Boyd, and a new high performance manager, Phil Merriman, with us. So had a great support around us, and the boys trained with great intensity, and we enjoyed the 2 weeks together. So obviously it was the only time of the day we got to get out of the house, so we tried to make the most of it and have some good fun on the track.
Where are you at physically? You said you had some injury carryover from last year. Are you good? Are you ready to go 100%?
Yeah, ready to go. Yeah, I've been training pretty solidly for the last month, so my ankle's feeling really good and I'm ready to go. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. It was obviously, I was very grateful to have the 5 games that I did play, and hopefully I can take a bit of confidence from that. But it was pretty frustrating to go down with an injury, but I suppose I've learned a lot from that experience, and hopefully that'll hold me in good stead in the future.
What are your goals for this year in that back line? There's very good players. How do you force your way in and hold spot?
Hopefully I can just train well over the pre-season and push my case to hopefully play in the best 22. And then from that, I just want to play consistent football throughout the year and hopefully string some games together.
What was your goal for the off-season? Was it put on size or increase your endurance? Was there any specific aims?
The main goal was just to look after my body, I think. Obviously last year with my injuries, I just wanted to make sure that I was fit and available for every training session during the pre-season, and by doing that I get myself fit and stronger. So yeah, just looking after my body and making sure I'm ready to go.
You think you'd be ready, mate, for some more midfield minutes? I think you put a joke at Cell Radio the other day that you've got a pretty good foot on you. Like if Fife plays a bit more up forward with Sonny Walters, are you ready to take on the midfield a bit more?
I haven't thought that too far ahead, to be honest. At the moment, my ambition is just to play at half back and sort of nail down that position. If there's a spot in the midfield in the future, I'm not sure. But at the moment, my focus is just half back and just trying to perfect my craft at that position.
Where do you think the team will get better?
I think we've taken some great steps last year. I think one thing that we're working on this year is just our ball movement and our mid-forward connection to try and increase our scoring. But I think we took some great steps last year and we stayed in games against some quality teams. So I think if we just keep progressing where we're going, we're going to hopefully get some better results next year.
You mentioned your new fitness advisor. What's he like? What is the focus? It seems like running, doing that tech seems to be part of it. Is that right, or what is the focus?
Well, first and foremost, Phil's a great person and he's built some really good relationships in the first few weeks he's been at the club. So from that, there's a lot of trust with the players and Phil. Obviously, we've been doing a little bit more running this year, which has been good. But Phil's really good at listening to us, listening to how our bodies are responding, and we've been getting the most out of our sessions. So he's been really good.
What type of running? Is it more sort of sprint work? Is it more long distance? Can you explain for people at home what is the running?
Oh, I'm no expert, to be honest, but we have been doing a lot more high-speed stuff during training and probably a few more kilometres. But in saying that, all of our running, most of it's done during footy drills, so it doesn't feel like we're doing a lot of like hardcore running sessions. It's more just a few more Ks in the leg during our drills, so it's been not that noticeable, to be honest.
When you were doing your quarantine, did you do that at home? Do you live with one of the other guys, or what's your setup?
Yeah, so I was at home with one of the other players who came and stayed with me. So we had 3 hours a day where we got to come out and train, which is really good. It's pretty tough in quarantine, but getting that time to come out and train and get some exercise in was really good. So yeah, I was quite fortunate in that case.
Who's your roommate?
I was with Josh Tracy, one of the new draftees. So he's just moved over and didn't have anywhere to stay, so he moved in with me for a couple of weeks, which was good.
What do you think of him as a player?
He's a big boy. He's a pretty powerful unit, so he's pretty exciting. I think he's got great jukes and he's a pretty handy kick, so he'll be a pretty exciting player for us.
Do you think he's someone who could
play pretty early on? As you said, he's a big unit and he's sort of got some skills already. Do you think he could play like a bit of footy this year, or do you think he needs a year underneath? Or?
I'm not sure. I hope so. I think he's got the potential to have an impact this year. He's been working pretty hard early on and trying to absorb as much as he can. We had Matt Taberner with us in our quarantine crew, and he sort of was following him closely and listening to his feedback. So I think he's progressing really well, and hopefully he has a good year.
He didn't get to play much, pretty much at all. Alex Pearce and John Hamlin last year. Are you excited at the prospect of that guy that includes two guys who are at the highest level?
Yeah, definitely. I spent a lot of time with them in rehab, obviously, last year. So I've formed some great relationships with them, and they're great people and really passionate about the footy club. So it'd be great to see them back out in the park this year, and hopefully I can play alongside them.
You just tell us a bit about your injury. It was a syndesmosis.
Yeah, syndesmosis.
Did you realise it was something bad straight away, or what do you remember information?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't great, but when I stood up, I could put weight on it, so I thought, I think I might be okay here. But obviously the scans weren't that great. But the rehab went really smoothly, and the medical staff looked after me really well, so it's feeling really good now.
Had you had any ankle issues previously, or did it sort of come from nowhere? Or?
Yeah, no, it was a surprise. I've never had ankle issues, so getting used to strapping the ankles, which is different, but I'm adapting well.
Excuse my ignorance, but was it your kicking leg?
No, it wasn't. It was my right leg.
Does that make it easier or harder when it's the leg that you use for your balance and that sort of thing?
Oh, not really. I have a history of whenever I get an injury, it's usually my left leg, so it's actually been nice to change it up, and during my rehab I've been able to kick, whereas usually I'm not able to. So it's been okay. I'm back kicking on my right leg now, so I'm starting to find a rhythm with that. So yeah, I'm feeling back to normal, which is good.
What was it like? I know you were good mates with Hayes when you came over together. What was it like watching Quincy halfway through the year from the sidelines and rising stars? Does that drive you a bit more for the season?
Yeah, I think it does. It was great to see him have a good year. I knew he was always capable of it. And yeah, I think he was very deserving of the Rising Star. But it definitely drove me off the track to complete my rehab well and make sure I get back out so I can enjoy the fun with him. So yeah, I took a bit from it.
Have you put on much size, Hayden, since you're drafted? Even are you taller at all?
I don't know if I'm taller, maybe a centimetre if I'm lucky. But I put on a few kilos, so I'm feeling fit and healthy. So yeah.
And obviously marking you see as being a big part of your sort of job down there as well as your kicking?
Yeah. I pride myself in my marking. It's one of the easiest ways to win the footy yourself if you just go mark it yourself. So that's why I try to do where I can, and I'll hopefully use that to my advantage this year.
So just in terms of sort of someone you would hope to maybe play like, is Luke Ryan that sort of style of player?
Yeah, definitely. I've learned a lot from watching Luke this year, the way he manipulates his opponents and holds his space and reads the play. So he's been a great asset for me to learn off, and he's a good bloke too, so he's been great to play alongside.